Okay, so first off, question 36 asks for the midpoint. To find the midpoint, you do x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So I should have negative 2 plus 6 divided by 2, comma, negative 1 plus 3 divided by 2. That gives me 2 comma 1. 37, slope, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1 gives me 1/2. AB is the distance of AB. So that's the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. That gives me approximately 8.94, 8/94. Questions on 36, 37, 38?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Daniel.
So, slope was 1/2?
1/2, yeah.
And then what was the 38? Was a decimal, right?
8.94.
8.9.
Yep.
Can you go over 36 a little slower?
Sure. So when we're finding the midpoint, we're finding the middle of the 2 points, right? So I take x1 plus x2. So that would be negative 2 plus 6.
Okay.
And then I divide it by 2, which gives me positive 2. That's my x value. That's the middle of the x's. Then I take y2 plus y1, or y1 plus y2, it's the same thing. So negative 1 plus 3, and then I divide that by 2. And that gives me the middle of the y's, which is 1.
Okay.
Then at number 39, we have our slope, we have our point, so it should be negative 3 equals 1/2 times 4 plus b. b is equal to negative 5, so the equation is y equals 1/2 x plus 5.
Y equals 1/2 x
Plus 5. Yep. Questions? Okay. Go ahead and get your homework out. You had on page 172, I think we did 1 through 12.
Yeah, we did.
What?
Page 172, we did 1 through 12. So I should check it today? Number 1 is 90 degrees. Number 2 is 10. Number 3 is 50 degrees. Number 4 is 48 degrees. Number 5 is 35 degrees. Number 6 is 12. Number 7, both angle B and angle C are 80 degrees. Number 8, all 3 angles are 60 degrees. Number 9, the measure of angle P and the measure of angle Q are 65. The measure of angle R is 50. Number 10.
Can you say that again, please?
Both P and Q are 65. R is 50.
Okay, thank you.
Number 10.
What was that again?
Number 10, measure of angle 10, and the measure of angle TVU is 70 degrees. The measure of angle U is 40 degrees. Number 7, both were 80. Number 11, the measure of angle 1 is 26 degrees. The measure of angle 2 is 64 degrees. Number 12, the measure of angle 1 is 120. The measure of angle 2 is 60.
You said again?
1 is 120, 2 is 60. Y'all, I'm going to let you know, and I don't often use this one, I'm disappointed. Okay? Everybody understands why I'm disappointed, yeah? Most of us didn't do this homework. I'm only one of us has an excuse because they weren't here. Okay. Moving on. Here we go. So, I'm not angry. I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed. We are in 4.5. Today, we are doing the last one. well, not really the last one, but the last one. So right now, we have a couple things. We have side angle, side congruence, where we're talking about included angles. Angles that are in between, right? Okay. We also have angle, side angle, congruence. We have angle, angle, side congruence. This is the only one so far that does not have an included angle or side. Included means in between. We can bring those fingers together, right? Okay. Today, though, we're going to be talking about side, side, side congruence, which is SSS. Okay? So SSS said, if each side of one triangle is congruent to the corresponding side of a second triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Okay, so I have this triangle, or these triangles. We're not writing a proof, but we could. What I want you to do is verbally tell me how you would prove that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle ADC. How could we prove, knowing that we're going to be using side, 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 okay? Knowing that we're going to use side, side, side. How could I talk about that these are, go ahead.
Could be the fact that both sides on either side are congruent, but they're also sharing the bisector.
Okay, so AC is a shared side, right?
And then the two sides that have
So-
the tick marks are.
So, well, I have a side, I have a side, I have a side, I have a side, I don't have this one.
Okay.
How would I know that these sides are congruent? And it's given right here. What does bisector mean?
Oh, it's supposed to.
It splits it in half. So if it's splitting it in half, that means this and this are exactly the same because it splits it in half. If this whole thing is 12 inches, then this is 6, this is 6. That's what bisecting means. So, may I write it how I would know? So we know that it's side, 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 but if I was going to verbally explain this, here's how I would verbally explain this. And this is how you would do a proof too. I would say segment BC is congruent to segment DC because AC is a bisector. Bisect means cut in half. Therefore, segment BC is congruent to segment DC. I also know that segment AC is the same for both triangles. That's reflexive. Therefore, it's congruent to itself. Now I can say that AB is congruent to AD, BC is congruent to DC, and AC is congruent to itself. So side, 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 I would say triangle ABC is congruent to, I started saying the alphabet song, I'm sorry. Triangle D, that's another D. D, that's still wrong. Come on, Mr. H. ADC by side, side, side congruence. What questions do we have? Once we know that those are congruent, I could say that angle B is congruent to angle D because of CP-CTC. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Do we know anything about these angles? It doesn't say anything, but because the triangles are congruent, I now know that this angle is congruent to this angle. Why? Because if there are corresponding parts in the triangles, and we've already proven that they're congruent, then they have to be congruent. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. CP, CTC. Side, side, side. Right now, these four are all you know. This is what you need in order to solve every type of congruent triangle. If you can't use one of those, and you can't prove that they're congruent, then they're not. Everybody with me? Okay. Make up for what you all did. I'm checking tomorrow's homework. Your homework is in my room. Crud. Cooper, will you please go? There's a set of geometry papers that say congruence, something on them. Go grab those.
Is it in the table, right?
Yep.
Or-
No, it's in one of my drawers.
Oh, I think.
Yeah, I will get it. Just walk down. It'll take 20 seconds.
Wait,
Okay.
it says what?
It's the congruence one. The ones that has triangles.
Just papers?
Yeah, there's going to be like 6. Okay? You're doing the whole thing. Questions?